Hello everyone, I am Dr. Geetanjali Srivastav from the Department of Commerce at the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, and today I am going to talk about the components of business organization. In the previous module, we were discussing about the characteristics of business organization, its significance and its various forms. In continuation with that, today I am going to talk about the components of business organization. So, basically the business activities can be classified into two broad categories. One is the industry and second is the commerce. An industry is a group of manufacturers or business concerns who are engaged in the production of a particular commodity. Say for example, tourism industry, food industry, automobile industry. The word industry comes from the Latin word industria, which means hard work. Industries can be further divided into four categories. First is extractive industry, second is genetic industry, third is processing industry, and fourth is construction industry. So, let us see what extractive industry is. Extractive industries are those industries which raise or extract their product from earth, water or air. Like wheat, rice, cotton are the products which we obtained from the surface of the earth. Mineral resources like coal, iron, gold, silver, etc. These are the resources which we get from below the surface of the earth. Then we obtain fish from the water, which is the basis for the fishing industry. So, these are the few examples of the extractive industry. Now, let us see what is genetic industry. Genetic industries are those industries which are engaged in the reproduction or the multiplication of the species of plant or animal. This is done basically for the purpose of sale. Example like nurseries, animal husbandry, poultry farm, dairy farming, etc. Then the next is manufacturing industries. Manufacturing industries are those which creates the firm utility. That means it converts the raw material into the finished good. Again, the manufacturing industries has four subtypes. Number one, analytical industry, then synthetic industry, then processing industry, and the last is assembling industry. So, now let us see what is analytical industry. Analytical industries are those industries which is concerned with analyzing and separating a single material into different elements. For example, in oil industry, crude oil is analyzed and separated into variety of products such as petrol, diesel, kerosene or lubricating oil. Next is synthetic industries. Synthetic industries are those industries where the different raw materials are put together to produce the more useful product. Example, cement manufactured by mixing limestone, shells, silica, sand, gypsum, coal, etc. Then the processing industry, in which the raw material is processed through various stages to make the final product. Like in the cotton textile industry, cotton is processed through the spinning, weaving, dyeing, bleaching and printing process to convert it into cloth. Then we have the assembling industry. In this industry, the parts manufactured by different industries are assembled together to produce new and useful product. For example, tires, battery, seat cover, music system, etc. are put together to make the final product. So, after discussing the subtypes of the processing industry, now let us see what construction industry is all about. Construction industries are concerned with the construction of building of houses, roads, dams, bridges, etc. The basic difference between the construction industry and the other industry is this, that whatever the product is made by the construction industries are erect and immovable in nature, and this cannot be taken to the market. Now, let us see the second part of the business component, commerce. Commerce is the second branch of business as it bridges the gap between the producers and consumers, and it also removes the barriers in the process of exchange. Commerce includes the two subtypes, one is the trade and other is auxiliaries to trade. Now, let us see what trade is. Trade refers to buying goods from the manufacturer and selling these to the consumers. The person who do trade are called traders, as it would have been a problem for the manufacturer to deal with the consumers. In fact, it is difficult to establish the market for the industrialist. So what they do, they make a connection with the traders. In fact, the traders, by taking the task of distribution in his hands, allow the manufacturers to concentrate only on the production process, and the distribution task has to be handled by the traders. So basically the trade can be of two types. It may be the domestic trade or it may be the foreign trade. In domestic trade we have the retail trade and the wholesale trade, and in foreign trade we have import trade, export trade and re-export trade. So now let us see what is home trade. Home trade may be considered as the domestic trade, the trade which is occurring within the domestic territory of the country. Wholesalers are the one who purchase the goods in large quantity from the manufacturers and distribute it to the retailers, whereas retailers are the one who buys the good from the wholesaler and distribute it to the consumers. Now let us see what is foreign trade. Foreign trade refers to buying and selling of goods between two or more countries. It can be divided into three parts, that is export trade, import trade and re-export. Export trade means when the country is selling the goods to the foreign countries. For example, India exports tea to UK. Then import trade, it implies the purchase of goods from the foreign countries. For example, India imports petrol from Iran. Then the third is re-export. Re-export trade means when the country is importing something for the purpose of exporting. Example, certain Indian companies import rubber from Thailand to export it to Japanese companies. Now the next is auxiliaries to trade. Auxiliaries to trade facilitates the exchange of goods and services. These are transportation and communication, banking, insurance, warehousing, advertising and packaging. So the first is transportation. As we know that producers and consumers are located at different places. For a producer it is difficult to identify the market, and for a consumer also it is difficult to identify the products which is produced by the different producers. So for that, transportation is something which is very important. Transportation creates the place utility by bringing the goods from the producer's place to the consumer place. Then the next is communication. As we know that business is a continuous activity which requires series of transactions between the producers, consumers or traders for the various deals and contracts. For that we have various modern forms of communication like email, fax, audio visuals, etc. Communication eases the process of the business activity. Communication greatly helps for the smooth functioning of the business activity. Then the next is banking and finance. No business is possible without the adequate finance. Finance is needed by the producers, by the traders or by the consumers. For the various consumer needs, now the commercial banks also extending their facilities like the EMI facilities, credit card and debit card. And for the traders who wanted to start their business domestically or internationally, we have the various banking support through the EXIM or through the ECGC. Then the next is warehousing. We know that there is a time difference between the production and the availability of the product in the market, and for that we have the warehousing facility. Warehousing makes the product available to the consumers just right at the time of the consumption. Warehousing or storage of goods removes the hindrances of time and creates the time utility. Then the next is advertising. Advertising creates the information or knowledge utility. In fact, without the consumer's knowledge about the product or services available in the market, no exchange is going to take place. That is why advertising greatly facilitates the trade. And the last is insurance. As we know, there are many types of risk in the business. There may be the risk of loss of goods by fire, damage to goods in transit, losses of destruction of business properties, risk of theft, etc. All these risks can be removed with the help of insurance by paying a certain amount of premium to the insurance company. So this is how insurance removes the hindrances and facilitates the domestic trade and the foreign trade. So we can conclude that industry, trade and commerce are closely interrelated. Without the help of the commerce, the industry cannot distribute their product to the consumer, and without the help of the industry, the commerce cannot proceed their exchange functions. So, in short, we can say these are the two sides of the same coin. Thank you so much.